Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Kitchen Witch. It is the first Friday of the calendar month, which means it's Friday night natter time. How are you all doing? Cheers, muchly, and welcome. Now then, my lighting's doing me head in a bit. In all honesty, bear with. If you are watching live, first of all, please do hit that thumbs up button and let everybody else in the community who may be, looking for a casual, crazy conversation type live stream to sort of hook up with, let them know that we're on and we're out there by hitting that thumbs up button. That would be fantastic. Thank you very much. And second of all, say hi in the live chat. In order to be able to do that, you do have to be a subscriber to the channel, and you have to have been subscribed for, I think it's at least 5 minutes before you're able to comment in the chat. And then slow mode is on, everybody, which means that once you've posted a comment, you can't post another comment for you out. Good evening, Ness. Evening, Major. Hey, hi, you two. How are you doing? Oh, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yes. Have notifications gone out yet, you two, please? Just so we know, when we might expect a few more weird and wacky weirdlings to join us. I know Lise said she'll definitely be on this evening. But obviously Rufus is home, so she might be a bit late bobbing on. Not yet. Thanks, Nate. Thank you. This lighting's still doing my head in. Just a minute. Hang on. I wonder if shoving it up there will help. No, that doesn't help at all. I need it about there. The problem is, if I put it there, I can see my reflection of my ring light in my glasses, and it's driving me mad. So what it's like for everybody else, I've no idea. I wonder if I put it, hang on. If I put it, no, I can still see it in that one. God damn it. And I need my glasses on to be able to read comments because, blind as a bat and all that. No. Oh. No, that's no good, is it? Buttocks. Angsy onzy. Oh, just gone out. Thanks, Nee. Thank you. Whoops, nearly knocked. No, that's no good, is it? It's because I've still got no flipping main light up at the top. Fingers crossed we're getting that sorted this weekend, funnily enough. Now, I'm afraid what I'm going to have to do is, if I do that, pull that on a bit more. There we go. I'm afraid that's about as good as the lighting's going to get, everybody. You need a tripod. I've got one, Ness. I've actually got two. Unfortunately, the first one I broke, and then Ian bought me another one, which we thought was going to be better quality, and I broke it. So I'm stuck at the moment with my poopy little desktop or tabletop ring light or whatever they call it, and it's absolutely useless. Although in fairness, I think it only did cost me about £5 or whatever to buy, but even so, it's not the best. But yeah, again, like I say, once I've got the main overhead lighting sorted, then I'll be able to have the big light on and it'll be a lot better. So, oh dear, laugh out loud. Yeah, Kirsty and being a bit ham-fisted and all that. And well, this time, the problem is I've kind of done it in exactly the same way as well. But this time I've done it because I've got a new zoom lens. It's new to me, but I've still had it a while. Like I bought it before we moved house. But it's a bigger zoom lens for getting even further away and stuff like that. Hopefully for when I can get it figured out for doing nighttime shots of the moon and stuff. Hey, Kel. Hey, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, darling. Chin chin. So yeah, so I'd got the new zoom lens on it, the bigger zoom lens, and of course it's a bigger, heavier lens, and I'd put it on, and basically it cacked it, and it was too heavy for the tripod mounting. So I'm like, yeah, and I think I need another new tripod. He was like, oh, for God's sake. I'm like, yeah, I need something a bit sturdier than this now. So, Rufus, good evening. Lisa won't be long. Thank you, darling. I did just say, actually, you were home. So, obviously, she might be a bit late. Ness, we have COVID. Oh, no. We have in the house. One of the boys has it. I'm not happy. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, darling. Well, the thing is, Ness, just because you've got it in the house doesn't mean that you're going to get it, or that everybody will get it, or that even if you do get it, that you're going to be poorly. You know, we've had it in the house a couple of times, but still to this day, Matthew and I haven't had it. And James was completely asymptomatic. It did not faze him. You wouldn't have known. You wouldn't have known. So, you know, it's a bit of a postcode lottery, in all honesty, darling. Guten Abend, Renata. Oh, hello, sweetheart. Thank you for joining us. It's lovely to see you this evening. What have you been up to, Renata? What crafty stuff have you got going on today, my darling? Because I know you've got something going on. Have you been weaving? Have you been sewing with your machines? What have you been up to? No. Neat. Your best friend didn't infect her family when she had it, Ness, so hopefully you will be okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it really is potluck. It's a bit funny. It's a flu. It's what happens, you know. Fingers crossed. Absolutely, Ness. Absolutely, darling. So what's everybody supping then this evening? I'm on the usual vodka and lemonade. Yeah. You've been busy tablet weaving. Ooh. Tablet meaning the size of it, I assume, Renata. Sort of, I don't know, sort of A4-ish, A5 to A4-ish size. That's what makes sense to me. Or does it mean weaving tablets, as in like wee bits of other bits and like you do with patchwork? I don't know. You can tell I'm not very good. I'm not very crafty. Yay, Neat's on the large red wine. Absolutely. I'd expect nothing less, Neat, from you. Kel, oh, Nessa, hope you managed to dodge it. I had it last August and managed to keep it away from the kiddies and the mister, thankfully. There we go. Exactly. Kelly's the same. Ness, you're on the vodka. Yay! Vodka and juice. Vodka's in early tonight, Ness. You see, finally, after all this time, nice and all good, sort of get in there. There is hope then, Kelly. Absolutely. And Ness, believe you me, sweetheart, if you've not got hope, you've not got any, you know, there is always hope. Always hope. When I start getting into what's been going off with me over the last 4 weeks, honest to goodness, it's been a nightmare. So we'll start off with the good bits. Nessa's got a backup, especially for tonight. Oh, bless you. Oh, you do right, Ness. You do right, Ness. Just get it. Yeah. Look, it might be what you need, darling. You know, have a good old sesh, get absolutely ratted, reacting. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm sort of if I'm already not feeling brill or I've had a tough time, if I get absolutely off my face, go for it. Yeah. Where they're just going down like water, I will end up sobbing my heart out and just letting all that emotion out at some point, eventually, probably not too far down the line. You know, and I tell you what, sometimes you need that release. You need to let that out and let that go. And if that takes half a bottle of vodka in order to get you there, well, you know what, lass, so be it, you know. Renata, no, not squares. But the warp has card in. Yes, right. I know what you mean. The warp has. I never remember which one's the warp and the weft. The warp is the warp, the going across, the horizontal, or is that going to be the weft? But one of them, which are called tablets, a very old method of patterned weeding braids. Yes, I do. I'm ringing a bell. Renata, you're dieting, so 0 alcohol, and I'm eating an apple. Well, fair enough, my darling. Apples, think of cider, things like that, absolutely. But I love apple juice. I do love apple juice, it has to be said. Oh, dearie me. Oh, Ness, you usually escape colds when everyone else has them. So you're highly likely to escape this. More than likely then, my darling, in all honesty. Fingers crossed you do. Yep. Neat's getting one of her 5 a day, in the form of grapes, crushed, fermented, and added with sugar to create wine. But absolutely. She's eating a grape in a roundabout way. Absolutely. Ingesting. You're taking in that goodness, It's still a fruit. Yeah, it's started to mutate itself out, hasn't it, Kelly? Ness, at least the variation going around now is less likely to be so severe. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm with Neat. I'm on with Neat's way of thinking. Yeah, one of your 5 a day, Neat. Absolutely, Kelly. Warp is the. Oh, I knew it. I knew I'd get it the wrong way around, Renata. Warp is the length. Weft is the yarn that is shot to and fro. That one. Yeah. A grape is a grape, no matter how it comes. Absolutely. In what form? Don't matter. Don't matter. The goodness, the minerals, the vitamins, they're all still there. Along with lots of other things. But a grape is a grape is a grape. Can't change that. Hello, Haley's. How you doing, honey? Oh dear. So I was just about to start. You're on a water. Are you still flushing out, lass? How's that going? Oh dear. Just think of the body magic. Think of the body magic. They're having to get up, go to the loo, think of the steps. All good. Got a lovely Slimming World meal. Excellent. That's good. We've had breakfast for tea tonight, as in, or otherwise known as a grill up. So sausage, bacon, baked mushrooms, eggs, all that. So, yes, pithing for England at the moment. Oh dear, yes. Well, it will, and even once you start lowering your intake again, it'll take a good 24 hours for your kidneys to catch up. So, yeah. Excuse me. Lee's saying hi, everyone. Hope everyone's good. Yeah, not bad, not bad. It's Ness has definitely got the old mid in the house. Kelly's on the virgin cider, apple juice. So Kelly's with Renata on apple juice, or le pomme juice, or whatever it is. Or is pomme frites are chips, aren't they? So pomme are potatoes. I don't mean that then. Whatever the French is for apple. Ness, I watched Puppy Hates My Makeup, Lisa, and I was on the floor laughing. I haven't watched that yet because I've done the clarinet lesson run tonight, so I haven't had time. Does that make water virgin vodka? Absolutely, darling. Yep, not a problem at all. I like that, virgin vodka. All these teetotalers in the house tonight, I know. Or would that be a potato? Yeah, I was going to say, I think a pomme is a potato, isn't it? Yeah, I got that one wrong, but you know what I mean. Anyway. Oh dear. So just about to start filling you all in on what's been appertaining. So it's been an interesting few weeks. It's been a very interesting few weeks. I was hoping the plans we'd had set sort of 4 weeks ago, we were doing really, really well. So in order for us to move, I think I told you all we'd got a storage unit, outside storage unit, and we'd had to increase the size of that last August when it was looking like we were going to have to go into rented accommodation and not straight into this property, because we suddenly had to find somewhere to put everything, you know what I mean? So we started now. Once we'd moved here, we'd got the garage, but then once we got here, we realized that actually the garage roof, although we knew it was in a bad state, it was actually virtually derelict. So we had the garage roof replaced, so it's now watertight. So we have actually got our own on-site storage area in that respect. But the garage is a lot smaller than the humongous storage unit that we'd got, which was costing us £91 a week. So I was paying out 360. Oh, sorry. If I've gone a bit funny, I've got an unstable message. So hang on a minute. Renata, pomme de terre is potato, apple is pom. So I was right. Ooh, thanks, Renata. So I was right. Apple is pom, but it's pomme de terre is potato. Get you. Oh yeah, I saw you worked out the clip thing on YouTube, Lisa. That's how you've done it. Get in. Oh, no need. I downloaded the full 3 hours, straight it all up, laugh out loud. Nah, Lisa, that's the elixir of life. What, water or virgin vodka? Oh, God, Lisa. Oh, yes, you went wobbly. You, unstable? Never. Oh, I know. Oh, yeah. It's been a very unstable few weeks. That is actually probably the best description. The captions you put on, Lisa, made it funnier. Oh, don't. I'm going to have to go and watch it after this, aren't I? I'm going to have to go and watch it. Yeah, so we'd started emptying the lockup, and we'd got a good conveyor belt system going, my hubby and I. So he was calling, because the storage unit was on one of the routes to work he can take, which is it's not a massive diversion kind of thing. Come on then, story time, I've heard it, but I'm coming, Nate, I'm coming. It's only 4 minutes. It is, I know, I saw that, Lise. So yeah, so it was on his way to work, so he'd been calling in every morning, or on an evening on his way home, picking a few boxes up, because me and my way of doing stuff, everything's been put into big plastic boxes. I've got a stack of them here at the side of me. So whoops, there you go. There's a load of underwear. My underwear. So big placky boxes, see through, so I can see what's in them and all that. Or, you know, a lot of them have got labels on and things like that. So he was bringing a boot full, basically a car full, home with him every day, putting them in like the kitchen or in the conservatory. I was then the following day going through the boxes, processing and sorting, because the vast majority of stuff that we'd had in our previous loft was all the baby stuff and all the kids stuff, which obviously from sort of James and Matthew had got a lot. Not only had we got a lot ourselves, but then once they got older, we'd had duplicate stuff at both my mum's house and at Ian's mum and dad's house. So then as they got older and it was no longer needed, it then all came, and after my mum died, it all came back to us. So we had all of that as well. But basically the clothing in particular, I knew there was boxes and boxes and boxes of clothing that we could now just get rid of. And I decided in the end that it was like, look, I'm just going to send it all to charity. Yes, you know, I could sit there putting it all into packs, putting it on, trying to sell it myself, but can't be bothered. So started taking it. So we've basically taken it to, we've been taking it to a cash for clothes place nearby. Yes, you only get 50p a kilo, but oh my goodness. So far we have weighed in over, it's almost 160 kilos in clothes. Now that's a lot of it was baby stuff. And you know, sort of up to sort of 2-year-old stuff, because Louis just moved into, even though he's coming up 4, he's so dinky that he's just moved up into age 2 to 3 clothing. So anything under the age of 2, that's all been got rid of now. But I'd kept everything after the big 2, you see, so I'd got tons and tons and tons. We have, as we've been going through stuff, you know, stuff's gone. We've done really well with tipping. We've not had to tip that much. The only things we've had to tip are all the old baby bottles, and like sippy cups and things like that, because the charity and all that won't take it, obviously. So that had to go to the recycling place, the recycling things at the local tip. So we were doing really, really well. We'd got it down to a point where I'd said to Ian, right, now we've managed to get rid of that much stuff. What we've got left, we can get in the garage, in the conservatory, and in rooms around the house. And all right, it's going to be a lot, but we can do it, we can sort it, and we can get rid of this financial burden. Because like I say, £91 a week soon flipping adds up. So the quicker we could get rid of it, the better. The day or the night of, the early hours of the morning of, the day when we were due to go and empty and get the final pieces of furniture out, and final boxes and bits and pieces out of the storage unit, and go, woohoo, we've done that, massive tick off the list. Our house was broken into, and my car was stolen. So, and unfortunately, it's what they call a 2-in-1 burglary. So they broke into our house purely to steal the car, which it just so happened that because we'd been doing all this shifting, my car had for once been the last one backed up onto the drive. So it was the first one readily available off of the drive. But they broke in through the conservatory, and because both Ian and I had Citroen cars, they didn't know which set of keys that they needed. So they took the lot. So they've broken, they've come in through, because we've got, from the back, we've got the conservatory, then we've got the kitchen, and we've got like a key rack hung up in the kitchen with all your keys on there, like, you know, like your extra window lock keys and your garage keys, and like my spare car key was on there. Now, again, because my spare car key was on there, so it got the Citroen sign on the key fob, so they could see there was one Citroen key, but of course there's 2 cars. So I'm almost like, I can understand why they didn't try bipping it inside to set it off to see which of the cars it would open. But anyway, then they've had to come through the kitchen, through this room where I'm sat now, in through this way, into my hallway, near my front door, which is where we kept all the big bunches of keys. Now, right, my keys, okay. So my keys, I'm one of these people that I can't be doing. I've got big handbags because, you know, if you've only got like a little car key or something on its own with nothing massive attached to it, then how the chuff do you find your key in the bottom of your handbag? So I got massive bloody great big, well, it was a noisy key ring. It was a duck, and you pressed it and it whack, 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 which I'm gutted about because I'd only just refound that bloody thing after years of not being able to find it. I love the chuffing thing. So that's gone. But so Ian and I's keys were both hung up together in the hallway. So anyway, they've come through. They've literally grabbed all the keys. So our front door is it's an old door actually, but that thing held bloody firm. It was not only was it locked, but it also got a bolt on it on the inside. Well, of course, because they took the keys, all the keys, that's still locked. Ian's brought a grinder home this weekend from work, so he's got to grind out the lock so that we can even open the front door again. Obviously, we've had to have the lock replaced on the conservatory door. My car was found, but the police were already looking for it by the time we reported it as being stolen, because it had been gone on to use in a further crime. So anyway, the police eventually recovered it, and obviously since they've found it, they've had it. I've gone and looked at it and sort of pointed out to them what in the car is my property, because on the way back out, after getting hold of the keys, finding the keys, on their way back out, they've seen my handbag hung over the dining room chair. Sat at the dining room table here, so it was, it was literally, and they've picked it up, thinking they've got a Brucey bonus, thinking, oh, great, hopefully there's a purse in there with some money in it. The fantastic thing is my purse doesn't look like a purse, and it did have cash in it. It had about 70 quid in it, plus all my cards. And it was actually on the table, literally in front of where the handbag was. But because it doesn't look like a purse, they'd ignored it and not took it. So when the car was found, all the contents of my handbag, they'd literally gone in and emptied the handbag out. But the annoying thing, two most annoying things. One, it was a Kipling handbag that Ian had bought me for my birthday last year. Lovely, because I'd asked him, I was like, I really could do with, because I want to get out walking out and about more and stuff like that. My big handbags are big, clumpy, heavy. I just want a small thing, just to be able to take a bit of cash, maybe my card, bits and pieces, house keys, and I'm done. And he found me a lovely little one, black one. So that was the handbag they'd nicked, but my diary was in there. Now my diary is my Bible, because I don't have a mobile phone. I know most people, the idea of having a written diary is like, what? Just put it in your phone, in your calendar. I don't own a mobile phone, and I don't there's lots of information that I store in my diary, because I always have it on me in my handbag. It really is my Bible. I have so many appointments and meetings and things that I have to be, or places I have to be for certain times. And, I've said to you all before, I can have multiple appointments on one day, and, and then last minute, another one might come in and I've got to be able to know and fit it in. So for me to lose that, again, it probably, for me, losing my diary, it is like, basically, excuse me, for anybody else, their handbag being on the back of the dining room chair and it being nicked, and their mobile phone being in it, So but anyway, once the car was found, they'd emptied it all out, obviously, when they nicked the car, and then they'd gone on to commit this further crime, and there were muddy footprints. Obviously, after they've done this other crime, they've got back in the car, they've gone over some muddy ground or whatever. There's muddy footprints all over the back of the diary and everything. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. And my car was, or is, a Citroen C4 Grand Picasso. So she's an 08 plate, so she's not, she's getting on. She's getting on. But she was a Trojan and a workhorse. And she's actually a 7-seater, but the two seats in the back are like that fold in and out. Fantastic, brilliant design. And without those seats folded in, the boot space is fantastic. And obviously I need that for Louis' pushchair, and also not only the fact that I need to be able to get Louis' pushchair in, but shopping and bags and equipment, and you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, I know, Neat. Absolutely takes the piss. Bunch of losers. Yeah. Kelly, how horrible. Sorry to hear about this, Kirsty. Absolute scumbags. Thanks, son. I know. Totally, Kelly. Waste of skin, all of them. Do you know what? I'm kind of, people have said to me, and it's, you know, you do alter your routines after something like this. So we now, you know, don't leave keys and things downstairs. However, I kind of actually am glad that the keys were downstairs, because I think I would feel worse if it had been an old-fashioned type burglary, as in they break in and they're in for ages and they're rooting through all your stuff and they're trying to find valuables and you know, money and things like that, and jewelry and things like that, and stealing sentimental pieces. You know, I've got a lot of family heirlooms and pieces of family jewelry that my heart would break. You know what I mean? Far more than losing the car. A car, I'm like, it's a piece of metal. It can be replaced. It's what you pay your insurance for. However, therein lies another story. But anyway, so yeah, so it's been a bit of a nightmare. I'm quite pleased the keys were downstairs, because they came in. Their intention of breaking in was to steal the car. That's all it was about. So, and because of the crime they've then gone on to commit, I'm glad that nobody was disturbed. We never heard it happen. We were not disturbed one bit. So therefore, you know, the kids weren't, you know, nobody confronted them. Because we'd been putting pictures up and things around the house, there was hammers, there was tack hammers, proper hammers, loads of bloody weaponry all around the kitchen, screwdrivers and God knows what, that they could have just literally, if somebody had come across them, they could have picked up and who knows, you know? So thank goodness we were all safe and well, and we didn't have that experience. Yes, it's cost us heavily, because like I say, we've got to grind out the lock on the front door and replace that. We've had to pay out to have the conservatory door locks redone, new locks. We've had to pay out for Ian's car to have a new key done, and that's not a simple job anymore, even though his car is like a 54 plate, so his car's even older than mine. But they've still all got microchip things in, and he had to ring the local Citroen garage and get these codes from them in order for the locksmith to be able to pair up or do whatever he needed to do with this new key, like a cloned key. So yeah, so that's where we are at the moment. The police have still got the car. They've not released it yet. I eventually, now this is the story about the insurance, so I'm going to have a slurp. Oh, Ness, thank you, darling. How awful. They are worse than a waste of skin. I know. Neat, but you were all in the house, kids as well. It's awful. Yeah, it was about, we think it was about 10 to 3 in the morning, witching hour, you know, it's that time of night. Thankfully, they were quiet and in and out of the house. Yeah, the police said it'd been less than 2 minutes. And the only reason that it'll have been as long as that was because they've not managed to get everything that they needed. Like the police said, if we'd have only had one Citroen car, they'd have seen the spare key up in the kitchen, and they'd have got that and been back out again, because they'd have known that's the key they needed. They wouldn't even have come through and got the rest of our keys. It was only because they didn't know. So they needed all the keys, or to make sure that they'd got all the keys, so they knew which one was which. Yeah, it's been a massive inconvenience. Obviously, because like I say, apart from anything else, it was the day we were due to empty the lockup. So that basically skidded to a halt all that fantastic positive progress that we've been doing with that. And it's meant that getting rid of that has had to be put back a couple of weeks. We have, from this week, we have done that. We actually finally managed to get in to the unit, because that's another problem. The keys to the padlock were on our keys. We'd both got a key for the padlock, but the keys were on our keys, which were stolen. So we'd had to ring the storage place, explain the situation to them. They'd put one of their combination locks on as a secondary security device, just in case. But because we hadn't got a padlock key, it meant that then we had to notify them when we wanted to go down in order to empty it out and one thing or another, so that they could get somebody down with massive bolt croppers. Because, of course, it's a storage unit. It's not just a piddly, little wee combination lock we got. Oh, no, the padlock I'd got for this chuffer was a Stanley, yellow and black, like that. Yeah, it was a good. I think it cost me a tenner or 12 quid. It was a good one. So obviously we had to have that cut off. So we went down last weekend, and we between the two of us, between both cars, I'm still I do know how we managed it. Knackered me sen up is one thing, but anyway, we did it between the two of us. We did it, and we emptied it. We had to not destroy a piece of furniture in order to do it. But yeah, we had to kind of damage a piece of furniture, but not in an unrepairable way. Ian can repair it. It's fine. It's just we had to take some legs off of a unit to get it in the car, because my car was the bigger car. So Ian's got a normal Picasso. My C4 Grand Picasso was slightly too bigger, boo. See, and they happened to take the bigger car, and that's been the problem, is dealing with the insurance company. So on my policy, I pay a premium to have a courtesy car in a theft situation. Not only do I pay that premium, I pay an extra premium on top of that to have a like-for-like vehicle, because for our situation, I need that room. I need that space. The other annoying thing is, of course, is that because it was my car that was stolen, Louis' £230 car seat was in there. That's never been recovered. These lads must, I'm assuming I'm sorry, gender stereotyping, but we are assuming they were young males. They've had some strength to rip that thing out, because it's an Isofix one. And it fully rotates. It's a 360-degree rotating thing. They big, heavy, clunky, not the easiest things to get in and out at all. But they'd got rid of that and launched that wherever, as well. So we've got to buy another one of them. So we managed to get the lockup clear. And from Wednesday, that burden's now completely gone. We are finally done and dusted with that, which is a great feeling. It's kind of like, well, at least, all right, we might have been paused for a couple of weeks, but we've still eventually managed to get on our feet enough to be able to do it. No help given by the courtesy car company. So like I say, I pay these extra premiums. So, and I'm like, and at first they'd said that they could get me a car literally within 24 hours. So I'm like, oh, fantastic. And they were like, oh yeah, it'll be delivered at 11 o'clock the following morning. I'm like, and they were like, oh, if there's any problems with it, we'll let you know. I'm like, right, okay. So 11 o'clock had come the following morning, no car had turned up. And I'm like, right. So I ring them, and basically it ended up taking 8 days to get a courtesy car. 8 days. And they were basically fobbing us off and trying to buy us off, because there was a clause in the policy that stated if they weren't able to find us a suitable vehicle, they would offer us a payout of £20 per day up to a maximum of 28 days, so 560 quid. And they'd offered us that. They'd offered it me on one day, and then when they'd spoken to Ian the following day about it, they'd offered it again to him as well, and we'd both declined it and said, no, we want a car, we need a car. You know, because if we take this 560 quid, what's that going to get us? We can't get another private rental for that. We can't even buy one. Well, we could buy one, but you know what I mean? Anyway, so, and it ended up, because unfortunately this was also, so not only was this the day we were due to empty the lockup, this was 2 days before my sister's hen weekend. The hen weekend that's been postponed for the last 2 years. So I'm like, I'm going nuts at this courtesy car company, because I'm like, I need a vehicle. I'm going away for the weekend. There is no way this is having an impact. You need to get us a vehicle. Anyway, they didn't. And they tried it on with Ian. They were basically blaming us, saying, oh, it's because you've specified a certain vehicle. And I'm like, I've specified a certain vehicle because that's the type of vehicle that I require. I need to be able to do what I need to do. It's also what I'm paying for. I'm paying for a like for like, you know? Anyway, so they tried it. I'd gone away. So this is the day of Storm Eunice, all right? So this is the weekend where we had Storm Eunice, Storm Franklin, and then Storm Gladys was after it. We had like 3 storms in like 4 days or whatever. But Eunice was the one. Eunice was the one that was like the worst storm we've had in like 30 years or whatever. So that was the Friday. So fortunately, Ian had already got that week off work. So we had got Ian's car. So Ian was like, no, you go away. You need this weekend away. You go away. Don't worry about it. So poor lad, we're left with 3 kids and no vehicle. Storm Eunice in a hot tub. Oh, we went there, Neat. We went there. Boy, did we go there. It was fantastic. It was amazing. But yeah, so anyway, when I got back from that weekend, Ian had, because they'd been trying it on with him, basically still saying that it was, they've not got any vehicles available and blah, 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 and it was because of this and because of that, and it was this excuse after that. So anyway, on the Saturday, Ian had thought, you know what, I've had enough of this. So he'd called the local rental hire company. And first of all, he sort of just asked generally about a rental for a 7-seater. Yeah, not a problem, Then he tried phoning the courtesy car company to say, look, they're saying this. What's your reply? And couldn't get through. They didn't work weekends. So he was like, right. So he rung the company back and explained the situation fully. So they then checked my car registration on their system. They were like, no, we've had no referral through from anybody regarding that car. Basically, when we do, we can get you a suitable vehicle within 48 hours max. Right, excellent. Can I have that in writing, please, says Ian. Yep, not a problem. So I get back on the Sunday. He tells me all of this. I saw the email. So on the Monday, I get hold of the courtesy car company and basically twisted their arm and said, look, somebody's lying to us. This is what the rental place have said. Here's a copy of the email. Basically, get on with it and get it sorted. And I had a car delivered last Thursday. However, so my car is a Citroen C4 Grand Picasso 7-seater. I was delivered, a manual diesel, 1.6 manual diesel. I have had an automatic Nissan Qashqai or Qashqai or Qashqai or whatever, however you pronounce it. A Qashqai, I call it, which is supposedly a 5-seater. Yeah, if your 5th person is literally stickman in the middle of the back seat, there's no. I'd said to him, if nothing else, because they'd said, oh, can you accept a 5-seater? And I'd said yes, as long as it had 3 full back seats, because of the child seats and booster cushions and booster seats and all that. No. So we can't all get in. And the boot What an excuse for a boot. It's an absolute, for God's sake. Oh my God, right? So I've never driven an automatic before. I will not be doing in the future. I hate the thing. And also, this Nissan Qashqai thing, it's an absolute anti-TARDIS. It's an anti-TARDIS. It looks like big and beefy and like that. And inside, it's like, the boot space is bonkers. I can't get Louis' pushchair in. I can't get it in, no matter how I try. Standing it up, no chance lying flat like I used to do. And the thing's fucking heavy. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't get his pushchair in. So we can't go anywhere in it where I need to then be able to put Louis in, take his pushchair. Can't use it. And it's useless for, well, it's all right for shopping if I'm on my own for a weekly shop. I can just about do that if I'm on my own. So I can't even do a full weekly shop in it, in the boot. And this automatic malarkey, petrol malarkey. Oh my God. I'm just like, no. This is doing my nut in. So that had been delivered on the Thursday. Was it Thursday or the Friday? Can't remember. Last week, one of them. Thursday, I think. And I'd said to the guy straight away, I said, let me have a look at this. I said, because it doesn't look big enough. And I was like, no, this isn't suitable. And he's like, well, we've only delivered what had been ordered. So you need to go back to the courtesy car company. So I managed to do that on Monday this week because I was busy doing stuff. And of course, I was busy on the Friday. I was all busy all day on the Friday, sorting stuff out and appointments and goodness knows what. Obviously, I knew they were closed on a weekend. So I managed to get hold of them this Monday and I explained the situation. I said, look, it's just not suitable. I said, and according to the rental company, it's because you've not requested the correct vehicle. So anyway, they were like, oh, we have requested the MPV, but, it was rejected. And I'm like, well, keep trying. I'm telling you now, this vehicle is not suitable. So I need some sort of replacement. You need to be, we need this sorting. All right. Okay. So, right. We'll get back to you. All right. Okay. Yesterday, I ends up phoning the rental place myself yesterday morning and basically explaining the situation and saying, I've no idea what, and they were like, oh yeah, we do know about it. We are trying to source you an MPV. Basically it's because the 7-seaters, they don't hold that many of them in their rental fleet because they're not often as often requested. And I'm like, you still see plenty of them on the road. So you are going to still get people like me requesting them. So do you not think you might need to get more of them? Might be an issue here. Anyway, so it turned around and he said, well, yesterday he was like, oh, well, we did say to the courtesy car company, the referral company, we told them this on Monday when they contacted us about it and they said they were going to get back to you. I went, yeah, well, there you go. That's why I don't like dealing with them morons. They've been a nightmare. So he was so apologetic and he says, yeah, I know you've been waiting a while. I'm like, yeah, it's 2 weeks now. 2 weeks I've been waiting for a suitable replacement vehicle. Yes, all right, we've got a vehicle, but that vehicle still needs to be suitable for my needs. And at the moment it's not, And like I say, I'm paying for this, supposedly. And he turned around and he said, well, he says, we're still struggling to get a 7-seater for you. I went, right, okay. He says, but, what I have got, unless you're prepared to take a minibus. What? Like, somebody says, oh, unless you're prepared to take a minibus. What would you think of? What would everybody think of? Because I immediately thought of like a 15-seat, like the ones you go on the school trips and stuff like that with. I'm like, And I went, okay. And I'm like, when you say a minibus, how many seater? And he's like, oh, a 9-seater. He says it's is it a Mercedes Vito or something? And I went, oh, okay. I said, because I was going to say, I have only got a normal license. I can't do like 15-seater or whatever. And he was laughing his head off. He was like, no, you know, it's the biggest you can drive on a standard license, basically. I'm like, right, okay. So we were potentially going to be having that delivered today and swapping over, because he's like, you know, why not have that for the weekend? At least it's bigger. It's able to get you and all your equipment and everything in, all the kids in, until we can potentially get you an MPV at the beginning of next week, a 7-seater at the beginning of next week. So, okay, go on then. Yeah, all right then. Yeah, because, all right, it's a bit sublime to the ridiculous, going from basically a 4-seater little neat thing to, great big huge, like, tranny vanny type thing. But, hey, I'll give it a go. I'm game. More space is better than not enough. So anyway, then they've rung today, and they've actually, surprise, they've actually got a 7-seater coming in off of hire tomorrow morning. So we're having a Ford Galaxy delivered tomorrow afternoon. So not quite the great big huge minibusy thing, thank the Lord, in one respect, because our drive's a bit narrow, and I was like, ooh, not quite sure if I'm looking forward to reversing that mother right now. But anyway, so we've got a Galaxy coming now. So fingers crossed I can actually now, from next week, be able to get somewhere and be able to do stuff. So Lisa, tell the truth, lass. Your eyes lit up as soon as he said Mercedes. No, not at all. Not at all, Lisa. No. The only I've had a Mercedes A-Class and hated the goddamn thing. Absolutely hated it. I inherited it after Mum died. It was hers, and it was awful. It was a petrol. It was a 1.6 petrol. But it was such a gas guzzler. It was unreal. No, I was quite happy actually when that got wrote off. Not by me. Again, this was, that was the second car. Yeah, second out of 3. Is that right? Second out of 3 of mine? I think so. Can't remember. But anyway, we've had so many cars wrote off where we lived previously, people driving into them. But yeah, so no, I wasn't really. It was my face dropped. I was like sat here going, holy, when he said minibus, I'm like, oh yeah, exactly, minibus. Like, yeah. Honestly, couldn't write it, Kirsty. Seriously, no, you couldn't. I had a friend come last week. She'd come to see my auntie, and then she said to me, auntie, oh, would you mind if we've just popped in? You don't think it's a bit late? It was like 5:30, I think, when they popped in. My auntie was like, no, of course not, she won't mind, which I didn't. It was lovely to see them. But she said, she went, seriously, like the last 6 months or so, she went, I've never known anybody have such bad luck. I went, I know. Tell me about it. Absolutely, tell me about it. It's just, you couldn't write it. But this is my life. This, honest to God, this is what happens. But it's also why I'm not able to. I can't get back into the channel with pre-filming. I mean, I've literally lived surrounded by boxes now for almost 9 months. It's just crazy and ridiculous. And every time we try and, we feel like we're getting somewhere, and we're starting to get a bit confident, like, oh, we might be getting there. Something comes along and wallops us, and like, don't forget your place, So yeah, it's So it's an ongoing thing. It's still not resolved or concluded yet in really any way, shape, or form. Other than, like I say, I'm getting a swap. I'm swapping the courtesy vehicle, so at least from tomorrow I should be able to get a full week's worth of shopping in the chuffing car, as well as my children. You know what I mean? It kind of helps. Excuse me, and I hope to God it's not an automatic. I hope to God it's not an automatic. If it is, it is. Excuse me, I've got burps now. But yeah, oh my God, I do not like driving automatics. Oh, no. The thing's got a frigging mind of its own. It really has got a mind of its own. What have the police said? I haven't heard anything from them. I was notified yesterday, I think it was, that they're going to be doing the forensics on it. So it should be being released by them soon to the garage, and then it's a case of obviously the insurance will need to go and look at it, have it loss adjusted, because the only damage that seems to have been done on it externally that we can see at the moment is they've walloped something with the wing mirror, and the back of the wing mirror's broken off. But that's easily done. At least the wing mirror's still on. They've not like collided with a wall and it's all hanging off and all that. It's just the back bit that's flung off. So that's easily repairable. But you don't know how it's been driven. You don't know over what sort of ground it's been driven. So until it's looked at underneath, you don't know if they've ripped fuel lines or, buggered up the suspension or fucked up the exhaust somehow. If they've been going uphill, down dale of a, in the middle, in the pitch black, you just don't know. I've certainly said to Ian, I don't want it back. I can't be doing. I don't want it. And weirdly, it was always at the back of my mind in the schedule that at the back end of this year we would have been looking to replace Ian's car anyway, because it is absolutely so I had to drive the chuffer for the hen weekend away. So I live in Yorkshire and the hen weekend was in Staffordshire, so I had to drive south as Storm Eunice was approaching from the southeast and travelling north. So, Kirsty, Storm Eunice. So I drove into the eye of the storm, into it, going down. It took me 2 3/4 hours on the Friday to get there. Chuffing Google Maps. But I got there. I did get there eventually, with lots of cursing and swearing and God knows what. But oh my God, the country lanes and the roads, the single track roads, and going through parts of the Derbyshire Dales, like you're driving through, and it's literally like you're driving through, so like a scene, a set from Game of Thrones or something, set on the Iron Islands. It's like sheer. It's like you're driving along the bottom of a gorge, or and it's sheer cliffs, and you've got trees hanging over, growing out of the rock, and of course, there was a couple of near misses with trees in road. How did you use Google Maps? What I do is I always, whenever I'm going anywhere, get the postcode on the laptop, Google Maps it on the laptop, and I write out my route. And so in this, it'll be like a shortened, my own shorthand version of directions that I need. And then what I'll do, like, M1 South, exit at junction 23, and then I start detailing in. And as I'm detailing in, handwriting my directions on a piece of paper, I'm zooming in on Google Maps. So it's like first roundabout, you want straight on. The second roundabout, you want, the second exit, right, second exit towards such and such on this road. So I'll literally write down points of reference, and things like that. And generally speaking, I get where I need to go and it's not a problem. I only went wrong twice and only had to stop and ask for directions once. So I was really chuffed with myself because Neat will back me up. Yeah, Kirsty is old school. Absolutely. So I was just about to say, Neat will back me up with this, right? The Derbyshire Dales are not exactly the easiest roads when you've got sat-nav, Exactly, Neat. Derbyshire Dales are bad on a good day. Exactly. Yeah. Single tracks and uphill, down dale, whoop, over that ford and up, whoop. Me, I'm over here asking sat-nav. Yeah. But I am old school. And so I'll literally write it all out. And like I say, I always get where I need to go. At least then as well is if I do go wrong or get lost, I can go and say, right, I'm this is where I'm heading to eventually. Like I did, I stopped at a pub and can anybody help me? This is where I want to get to eventually. However, at the moment, I'm heading towards such and such a place. And then I need to be heading towards such and such. And they were like, oh, yeah, and it does help then get me on my way. Derbyshire Dales are stunning. Oh my goodness, the scenery and the different types of landscapes that you go through, like I say, but hellish to drive in the middle of a storm, heading into, the worst storm the country's had for 30 years as well, with the wind, because on the Friday, it was the wind. It was ridiculous. But tell everyone why you don't like sat-nav, Kirsty, because I can't be doing with it fucking talking to me. I cannot stand it talking to me. It drives me up the wall when it's like, in 300 meters, turn right. What the fuck is 300 meters? What are you talking about? What, this right? That, what? Can't be doing. And then, you have gone wrong. Turn round or whatever it is. I'm on a one-way street. Why have you took me down a what? Turn round. I can't turn round. You told me to come. No, can't be doing. Get me a map. Give me a map. Give me a map. Let me. Yep. Right, lovely. I mean, I'll even write things like on my directions. Again, as I'm honing in more to where I want to be, it's even things like, you'll pass an Aldi on your right hand side. Lise, the first time I came to your house, this is exactly what I did, and it as I got nearer towards where you were, it was, you're going to pass this shop on this side, then look for this on this side, then you do this onto the dual carriageway. Still got there, Hey, Lizzie J, hiya. Hello. Welcome. Yay. Thanks for joining us this evening, my darling. And thank you for subscribing. I did see your comment that you'd put on one of the videos. Please, past the third tree on the left after the snicket, turn right at the blacksmith, past the general store, and third left after the hardware store. Exactly. Still gets you there. Don't matter how you get there, as long as you get there. And there is a song about that. And it's gone. It keeps coming in and going. In 3/4 of a farthing, turn left and keep going for half a gourd. Absolutely. You see, now this is the thing. But it's like when I'm writing on my thing, and I like meters and all. No, tell it me in yards or feet and inches or miles or whatever. Quarter of a mile. That's fine. Quarter of a mile. I know roughly whereabouts. Yep, not a problem. You count the Derbyshire Dales by the pubs and cliff edges. Oh my God. Yeah, sheer drops to the side. Oh my word. Hiya, sweeties. Love you all. Oh, bless you, Lizzie. Yeah, oh my word. And the great thing was, so I went one way, it took me 2 3/4 hours, like I say, to get there. On the way back on the Sunday, because I was not meant to come back until the Monday, which was actually the Monday of my Oracle live. And I'd said to Ian, because I'd said, oh, because we had to like leave at like, we had to be out the cottage by like 9 in the morning anyway. So I'm like, well, it's all right. I'll stop over and then I'll just leave really early and I'll get home and then I'll do my live. It'll be fine. But because of the whole car situation, Ian was back at work. The kids had been off school the week previous, so they were back at school. And because the courtesy car company hadn't got me a car sorted and we'd only got the one, I came back on the Sunday. So I drove back during Storm Franklin with all the rain and the flooding. So yeah, because I'd come one route and then found out on the Sunday afternoon that I couldn't go back the same route, which I'm kind of pleased about, in all honesty. And I had to find a diversionary route, and it was actually the route I ended up coming back was the route that in my head I wish I'd have took going. It was the route that felt natural to me to go that way. But then when I Google Maps it was like, oh no, go this way and all that. And I'm like, well, would that not just be easier? Because I know more of the road that way and it's already familiar territory. Anyway, I came back that way, and yes, I should have gone that way. It was a lot better. It took me 2 1/4 hours to get home, so only half an hour less. But for the first God knows how many miles, I was literally probably doing on average 25 mile an hour because it was all through the Derbyshire Dales with still the wind and the rain. You as you were going through and along, you could see where the farmers and the locals had tidied up. You could see how much of what had fallen and come over the road. So it was kind of like quite pleased they'd cleared all that. But there were still a couple of instances. I mean, there was one where I didn't even see it till the last minute, thank God. But basically, they'd coned round this massive tree. But at least, fortunately, it was actually a 2-lane carriageway. It wasn't a single track, so you could get round. But there was a car, coming the other way. So thank God I had only been going at sort of 25 mile an hour because it was just round a bend and going up, and then there this tree was. So it didn't give me much reaction time. So yeah, it was once I'd got back onto the major road, or back onto sort of more A roads and off of the C roads and B roads, it was looking hunky-dory. I'd set off at 6:15 and I'd got to where I'd wanted to be on this major road. Right, know where I am now. From here, I'm 45 minutes from home, Thank God for that, because I need a wee. So I'm expecting, probably walking in maybe around about 10 to 8. Unfortunately, just as I dropped on that major road on one junction, thought, oh, what's going off? And I'd seen blue lights going in the opposite direction at a right pelt, blues and twos in it. So I sort of dripped on and I'm like, oh no. So I'm like, right, where is this? Is this on this road or is this back up all the way down to the motorway roundabout where I want to be? Because if that's the case, this is going to take a while. This could be interesting. Anyway, as it turned out, it was literally one exit. So I literally crawled. I got on one exit, crawled about 3 miles, possibly, and got off at the next exit. Again, thank goodness I'm familiar with the area because I was like, right, okay. So all the way off, once I figured, I was like, no, the incident is on this road. But whereabouts down, I didn't know. So I'm like, right. So I'm trying to formulate a plan, and I'm basically trying to, diversionary route in my head. So which I managed to do, and it was fine, and I managed to eventually drop on the motorway. But that cost me half an hour. So whereas I should have been home about 10 to 8, I finally walked in the door shaking like a leaf at about 8:30. Because once I'd got onto the motorway, the other problem then was, all right, I'm off of these windy, horrible country lanes where trees could potentially fall at you at any second. But once I'm on the motorway, it's exposed, and the crosswinds, oh my goodness, like literally I could feel everybody was the same. All of a sudden you'd see the cars up ahead just sort of veering over. You're like, oh right, side gust coming. And you just, it was, everybody on a 4-lane motorway, everybody was using like lane 1 and 3 to give you, you've got plenty of space going. But sat nav would have told you, yeah, it would. That's true. But I just, it's fine. These things happen. The annoying thing is that as I'd been coming towards, heading towards the major dual carriageway that I'd wanted to drop onto to then get to the motorway, I'd had a decision to make about, it was a left or right decision. Right goes the way I went, which was in my mind was going to be the quicker, easier route, less hassle. Or did I go left and go a bit more of the back roads, again, still very familiar roads I know very, very well, through the back roads? And I was like, you know what? I am done with back roads and uphill, down dale and potential. Nah, I've had it. Even though those are better roads than what I've been on, and drop on the motorway further up, or even continue all the way home on the back roads, because that again is routes that I know and I've done previously. I was in a familiar part of the country in one respect for half the journey. It was just t'other half and I was out of my depth. Well, it wasn't out of my depth, but I'd not been there before. So so when I was on certain parts of the motorway, coming home, once I'd turned off the main trunk motorway onto my motorway, because again, that's quite, again, uphill, down dale, and those high points was, woo, it was interesting. I was very, very pleased to get home. Proud of myself for doing it. Also, like, thinking you absolute plonker for doing it. But at the end of the day, nothing was stopping us having this goddamn fucking hen weekend. So, and it was such a good laugh. Again, there was so much went off, so much happened. But the highlight is, we were on the Friday evening, middle of Storm Eunice. It is blowing an absolute hoolie. I think we noticed somebody was able to get on the internet the next day, and not far away had recorded winds of, I think, 90 mile an hour on that Friday evening. So like literally like maybe 10 miles away was 90, 95 mile an hour winds they'd recorded that night. We are sat in a hot tub in the middle of that, and I mean, it was so cold. It was so icy cold. There was sleet in it, pelting our faces, getting like this Nordic experience, the Nordic sauna, the sort of the ice and fire experience, as they call it. You got the freezing, frozen blast and all that, but you're in the hot tub as well. It was just hilarious, singing his heads off to Gloria Gaynor and God knows what. And that's a fantastic memory, and I'm pleased. All right, it was probably a bit stupid driving in those conditions, in all honesty, but I took my time. I was careful all the way home. I said to Ian, once I got onto the major roads, I don't think I went above 65 mile an hour coming home because of the wind. I kept it steady. I kept it where I was comfortable. The important thing was to get home. So Google Maps would have redirected you. Again, if I'd been in a more modern car with inbuilt sat nav or maps or whatever, or even had a phone, yeah, but you know, we managed. I took my laptop down with me to the cottage, primarily for my music. In all honesty, it was nothing. It was for no other reason, and you know, it was literally just so I'd got my style of music, because I knew everybody else was not particularly the same style of music as me. So it was so I could get away and sit in my room and listen to my sort of music and have a chill for half an hour if needs be. But the Wi-Fi was so bad, it was absolutely horrendous. When you were upstairs, you couldn't get any signal at all, and even in the main sort of living room, you had to literally be on top of the router to be able to get a signal. So I logged on. I managed to log on and get on the Sunday afternoon and get on Google Maps and find the redirect, and that's when I said to Sarah, I was like, bloody hell, look at this. And I said, well, this is the way it's telling me to go. And she was like, well, I won't be going that way, because that way always gets flooded. And I'm like, well, it's not saying it's flooded now. And she's like, it will be. I'm like, actually, she's got a point. It probably will be. So I did go again. It was a plan C. But I think it worked out better in the end, in all honesty. Apart from, obviously, then further on knowing about the the incident on the dual carriageway. But we got there. We got home eventually. And like I say, there was lots of laughs, few tears, not from me. Or were they from me? They might have been. No, they weren't from me, actually. I was very good. I didn't get overly drunk. I did drink. We'd got some activities lined up for the days, and you know, and one of which was a cocktail masterclass. That was phenomenal. That was amazing. We learned to make a proper mojito, which a proper mojito is actually really nice. I've tried mojitos before and I've been like, no, horrible. This was divine. It was refreshing. It was lovely. A porn star martini, which I've never had before, because when I've read the list of ingredients, I'm like, no, not me. But again, actually, a porn star martini is divine. It's so nice. It's lush. It's really creamy. It's lovely. And then a sex on the beach. So yeah, so that was good fun as well. So it was good. I'm glad we did it. She enjoyed herself, which is the main thing. And everybody got home safe and sound. So, oh my goodness, yeah, there was some. The only thing I will say is this place had got a wood-fired hot tub. Now, the idea of them, novel idea, fantastic idea, sounds amazeballs. Sounds like, oh yeah, that's amazing. In reality, is an awful lot of hard work. A lot of you've got to really prep, because it's like an hour to fill the hot tub with water. Then you've got to put the fire on, and then you've got to get it up to temperature. You're looking about 4 or 5 hours in total just to get it to the point where you can then go in it. And then keeping it at temperature is a slog. You've got to have somebody assigned to it all day. You've got to be, you know, if you're wanting to have the hot tub for, say, an evening, say 6 o'clock, you've got to start it off at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and somebody's got to be tending to it and keeping an eye on it all day. So, and it eats logs. It goes through logs like you wouldn't believe. So, yeah, the idea of it is lovely. Would I recommend it? Not on your Nelly. Not on your Nelly. If you're thinking, or the idea of booking somewhere, you know, maybe, and you're thinking of a few days break, and you're having a search, and somewhere comes up, and you think, wood-fired hot tub. That sounds a bit of something different. Don't do it. Do not do it. The hot tub, yes. Wood-fired, no. Just so we're clear. Hang on, where am I? Oh. Love you back t-shirt. Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you. It's a jumper. It's a like short-ish, you know, waist length, normal length. It's actually one of those what they call fine knit jumpers, and it's Hell Bunny. It's by Hell Bunny. I've got two. I've got this one, and then I've got one which is orange, an orange moon, with just one big black bat flying over it. I got them in the sale. I think I got them in the sale. Was it last year or the year before? And I think they were brought out a couple of years before that, so probably a few years old now. But they're just so comfy, and I love Hell Bunny. I love Hell Bunny stuff. So, you know, Nee, at least your sister finally got a hen do, bless her. Exactly, Nee. This is it. Kelly, sat nav would tell you where to go like 1 minute before, and then again just after you miss the turn. Exactly. Yep. Nee, yeah, damaged your roof, those bloody winds. Did it, darling? No. Did it get... Oh, do you know, Nee, I'm not bloody surprised, because like I say, I'm sure somebody read either 90 or 95 mile an hour where we were, so you not being far away, you know, and being up high like what we were. Shit, honest to God, I've got footage, and I'm stood, and you can't hear me because of the wind noise, because I am talking. There's no way you can hear me, and you can see how much the camera's moving, and that's purely the wind blasting at me. It was incredible. It was unbelievable. It sounds like you all had good fun anyway. Oh, we did. You were in the sticks. What do you want from the Wi-Fi? No super fast around here. Oh God, no. No fiber optic or whatever. Geez, you've got to be thankful if you've got a phone line. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, it might be funny, but it's true. Sat-nav has definitely added to the road rage these days. Exactly, girl. Exactly. Yeah. You see, so your best friend gets mad with us as well, Neat. So it's not just me. I know I'm not just on my own. I know I'm not. Love a porn star and a martini. Yeah, I know, Neat. Lise, can't beat Sex on the Beach. Just be careful in the sand in your crack. Yeah, you see, it's the sand. It really does get where water can't, and places where you don't want it to. And you're finding it for fecking days on end. No, thank you. And Satna, you know, it's like when you watch, it's the only thing about like the film Cocktail that does my head in. I love that film, but where they're getting down to it on the beach, I'm like, really? Because you know what sand's like and wet bodies, it's like a fucking magnet. Boing. It's, honestly, you can like put your hand that far, like 6 inch, 4 inch, whatever, away from sand, and sand will just go. You don't even have to touch out, and you've got sand on your hand. Where's it come from? Nobody knows. So, no, thank you. Neat, been there, done that. And how long did it take for the itching and the burning to subside? Ness and sat-nav to take you the long way around too. Absolutely. Although, in fairness, yeah, well, this freaking Google Maps. Oh, my God. Kelly, you've never had a porn star or a martini, but I'm sure I'll get to try one of them at some point. Honestly, Kelly, porn star martinis. Oh, my gosh. Amazing. Loved it. Yup, thought you might need. Yeah, been there, done that. Yeah. The martinis are all right too. Oh dear. Well, do you live in Mallorca and Cyprus? Exactly. You want you want a white Russian mock. That's what you want. Yep, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, it might have been. Oh, did it get held? Oh God. I know you were with me. Yeah, I was just about to say Lisa was with me. Are you sure that was last year? Was it last year? Was it not the year before? Ah, God. I ain't got a clue. I thought it was the year before, but I don't know. Oh, no. Oh, I can't remember. Was it last year? It's last year then. Again. Yeah, Nessie's getting held again. Oh, Renata's back. Hi. Sort of snoozed off. Oh, bless you, darling. As I had quite a stressful afternoon and no sleep the last 2 nights. I'm so tired. Oh, Renata. You get a nice calming tea or something, darling, and go and get snuggled up in bed. And if you fall a kip, you fall a kip. Don't worry about it. At least you're in bed and you've not got to then like shift or then, you know, I fell asleep a few weeks ago on the settee and woke up, and my neck, and for about 2 days, my neck was just like, I was like, yeah, not a good idea. Yeah, thought you were quite Renata, says Lise. Oh, sandy crack, ouch. It's the sandy front crack. Oh, ouch. Yeah. I watched that for the first time a couple of weeks ago. What cocktail? Really? Neat, you love a porn star martini. Yes, late 2021. Was it? God, I ain't got a clue. No, it wasn't. No, it was the summer. I had my summer dress on because it was when we met up with Costa, wasn't it? That wasn't late last year. That was earlier. If it was last year. Sandy crack and salty mouth. Terrible combination. Yeah. Definitely not the sexiest of descriptions there, Neat. Oh, yuck. Oh, my word. I can't believe it's only... You'd never watched Cocktail before, Neat? At least. Wow. Was it really? Was it? It feels like longer than that. No, because autumn was when I moved. Autumn was when I moved, Lise. So don't forget I moved out in October. Believe it or believe it not. So it was well before then, darling. It was summer. So yeah, believe it or not, we've actually been in this house now 3 months. I think it's 3 months. Yeah. End of November we moved here. So I know it does feel like years. I know, tell me about it. Why do I always get confused with someone? I don't know, Neat. I don't know. Obviously, normally it's you and Ness because the ninnies. But with Lise, I don't know why I keep calling Lise Neat. I don't know. If it's not Ness, it's Lisa. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but consistently, it's either one of them two. You know. So I don't know why either. Oh dear. So yeah, so basically we are now at the point of trying to pick ourselves up. Like I say, we've finally sorted and emptied the lockup, so we've got rid of that. We are surrounded by boxes, and I've just got to get my mojo back of actually getting through and sorting them out and one thing and another. I've done some more of the clothes, just about finished with the clothes actually, in all honesty now. So now I'm just getting through actually what we're wearing now, and I know the boys, the big two, are starting to grow out of some stuff, so I just need to sort that out a wee bit. And then hopefully we'll get, like I say, now we're going to move on to, because again, since the break-in, jobs that were on the list ready and waiting to be done, or were going to be done, like sorting the lights out, they've had to be put on hold because we've had expense with all this, and we've gone and bought some security light and camera system now. Ian installed that last weekend. So, we've had to do some security things again, and we're two people, two pair of hands. We can only do what we can do when we can do it, which is generally at a weekend when Ian's home. So, yeah, I know. Oh, dear. So, yeah, so we're getting on. Need to get that mojo back, sort the rest of all these boxes out so, we can actually move in this house a bit. I'm planning to do a car boot in a few weeks as well. Again, my friend who came last week, she's, bless her cotton socks, she's agreed to come up and help me do a car boot in a few weeks so that Ian can obviously be at home with the kids, because otherwise it was going to have to be like, how do we figure out who comes and sits with the kids and what have you? And, really with car boots, you need two people. for if you want to go and get a cuppa or you need a wee or whatever. So bless her cotton socks, she's checked her work schedule because she works shifts and she's not working on this particular day that I've mentioned. So she's going to come up and help me do that. And that's a lot of that is it's baby stuff, but it's like your big stuff that's actually still got a value to it. So like your big Jumperoos and things like that are like 100 quid to buy brand new. So, you know, even on a car boot, you can still get 40, 50 quid for them, you know, when they're in good nick. So, yeah, I've got a double buggy that I need to sell and stuff like that. Lizzie, you had a break-in. That's terrible. Did they take much? Bless you. Thank you, darling. They stole my car. It was what they call a 2-in-1 burglary. So they broke into the house to get the car keys to steal the car. But I have a big car, a 7-seater, but we don't. And again, I've been trying to bang onto this with the bloody courtesy car company. You know, I didn't buy a 7-seater car for the 7 seats. I bought the 7-seater car because of the boot space. Because my children all have additional needs, particularly my youngest. So I've got 3 boys who are 12, 11, and almost 4. And the little one has mobility issues. So he has a big pushchair. So I need to be able to get that in the boot along with, you know, shopping and stuff like that. So yeah, so it was literally they came in just to steal the car, which then the car was then used in a further crime. So the police have it and for forensics and stuff at the minute. So yeah, someone will offer you 50p, tell them to do one. Oh, I know, Neat. Particularly towards the end of the day, they try it on, you know, come about 11 o'clock in the morning or whatever. They're like, you know, ask you how much. And even if it doesn't matter what you say, you could say 100 quid, they'd still go 50p. Like, sod off. You know, no, you're all right. I'll take it home. Thank you very much. What? You love car boots. You can move a body in them dead easy. Especially big buggers like my old car. Yeah. Oh, I know, but people try to knock you down from a quid, for fuck's sake. I know. Tell me about it. I remember, I mean, I've not stood a car boot for a long time, but I remember one of the last ones that I did, or I remember one certain car boot, and literally I was asking like, I think 10p for these bloody soft toys, like 10p each. And the guy was like, well, I'll take the box off you for a quid. And I'm like, there's more than 10 toys in there. There might only be 10p, but what? Sod off. Go away. I mean, I had one person, what was it? It was something at one time that I've got priced up, and I think I've got it priced up at about 70 quid. Can't remember what it was. Must have been something big anyway. And they come in, and it's when they come in, and they're literally almost forcing the money into your hand. 20 quid, I take it. 20 quid, I take it. And you're like, and they're like literally forcing the money into your hand so that then they can walk off with it. It's like, whoa, I don't think so. No, go away. And it's when they're really, really persistent and they're just nick. And they think that by nicking at you or creating a scene that you're going to back down. And it's like, go away, you know, and especially when you're a woman on your own, that doesn't help. Oh, Lizzie, cheeky, I don't mind. Because in all honesty, girl, you know, if you don't ask, you don't know. And if you don't try it, you don't know. So a bit of cheek, I don't mind. Taking the absolute Michael, no chance. No. I'm not having that. And certainly not from certain sectors of society with certain attitudes. And no, ain't happening. Neat, your mate did one once and I offered to help. It took 20 minutes for me to get barred from a stall. Honest, bloody hell, Neat. On 20 minutes, you were slacking, lads. Oh, hang on, sorry, just filling that up. I don't want to spill it everywhere. Lise, we had people nicking clothes and all sorts when we did booties. Oh, I know. You've got to have eyes up your arse, let alone back of your head. You know, yeah. That's why it's always best with two people. Excuse me. But you know, but if again, like I say, I could stick it on auction sites or whatever. But then you've got, you know, and if people don't turn up and mess you about and all that malarkey, I'm like, no, I'll do a car boot. I'm just being very selective about what I'm keeping at one side. Literally, if I think it's got a decent enough value, it's being kept in the side of the garage for the car boot stuff. Like I said, there's a double push chair in there. I mean, literally, that double push chair, it cost me well, it didn't cost me. My in-laws bought this one because my mum bought me my original pram that turned into a pushchair for when I had James, but then because I had Matthew so close and James wasn't walking, I needed a twin. So my in-laws bought that one, but it was over 200 quid. Nee, honestly, I just keep saying, "Are you taking the?" Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can just imagine you need somebody. Oh, here you go. Are you taking the piss? Yeah, I can see it now. Stealing from a car boot, tossers. Oh yeah, absolutely, Lizzie. Yeah, I agree with Neat there. I know, but that's what they do. You've got to have eyes in the back of your head, honestly. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so we'll see what we can get rid of there. Like I say, it's the larger value items. We've got Jumperoos. We bought really nice. They are Fisher Price. They're a toddler seat. Well, you can use them from being a baby. It's like a rocker chair. It's a rocking chair, but it converts into like a toddler chair as well. And I mean, they were like 50 quid a piece. And again, because the two were, you know, not much in age, they both required those things at the same time. So we had two of everything. So even things that we kept and reused for Louis, we always had like an extra spare because again, you know, because there's only 16 months between eldest two. Yeah. But the double buggy, yeah, it cost over 200 quid brand new. It was used for 4 months and then James started walking. So it was only ever used for 4 months, but it's, you know, that's like what, 11 years ago now. But it's still perfectly fine. And in fact, I think you can still buy them. I think the pushchairs now, I think you can still buy them for about 240 quid. So that's definitely worth selling on the car boot, you know, get 100 quid for it. So as long as as long as it's stuff like that that'll sell, as long as I can sell it. And I always say, if I can sell it, make me pitch feedback and get a takeaway that evening out of it, I'm quite happy, in all honesty. It's got stuff out of our garage or whatever. I think if there's much that, if we don't sell much and we end up bringing a lot of the big, what I consider to be higher value items back, then I will probably with those make the effort to eBay them or whatever. But other than that, if there's anything that I'm like, do you know what, it has got a value, but it's gone to the charity shop. I daren't go to my local, because we're really lucky. We've got nearby, there's lots of Bernardo's charity shops near us, but one of them in particular, which is literally just down the road, is the distribution centre for our town. So basically, like when you know, from like the head offices and stuff, like in London and stuff like that, but for this area, they get like the main stuff and then they pass it on out to the smaller shops out and about. I don't go there for at least another 6 months because we have dropped off so many bags of stuff. It is with the drawstrings on the top, the 50-litre ones. I'm talking those. Oh, I've got an unstable message again. So if I've buffered there, I do apologise. Just a bit of a break in the connection, everybody. Sorry. Yeah, so I've dropped the last one I dropped. I'm sure it was either 9 or 12 bags I dropped off last time. And the time before that, I think I dropped off 6 or 8. So I daren't go there for a while, but I found another one, another localish one, which isn't part of Bernardo's, so I might try. Yes, I went wobbly. Thanks, Neat. Yeah, I wondered if I would. Yeah, Facebook selling pages too. I just can't be bothered. But I'd rather try the car boot first. If I can get rid of the stuff on there, fantastic. If not, I'll bring it back and then I'll do, like you say, Neat, Facebook selling page or auction sites, like I say. And if nothing else, I don't know, I might even wait till like the summer and do a tabletop sale just on my drive. Because of where I live now, I literally live on a very main road. I mean, I was on a main road before, but this is very much a main road. Again, this is, but we are set well back, so it's not, but I've got a fucking long driveway. So I could even, do a garage tabletop sale down my drive or something one day in the summer. Or like I say, just donate it to charity. So I'm just at the point now where it's like, it's what's been so hard about this enforced hiatus with the break-in and literally stopping everything dead in its track, because once you've got into that groove, and like I say, we were on such a roll processing the boxes, it was working fantastic. To have that interrupted, to try and then pick that momentum back up, is what's proving the most difficult. Particularly as obviously, I've got everything sorted out with the insurance, this bloody courtesy car. Louis' schooling, I'm having to sort that out at the moment as well. Although I think after today, I think we've finally made a decision on which school we're gonna apply for him for. But that's been a lot of stress, and a lot of meetings and things like that, and having to go and physically visit schools. And that's that in itself, on top of everything, that it's because of Louis' needs, it's a totally different ball game to, sort of the normal route of doing things. So it's weighing up whether or not we think mainstream is going to be the best place or specialist school, which I think we're going to go initially with specialist. I think Ian said it best the other night. We need him to be assessed, but in order to assess him properly and thoroughly, he needs to be assessed in an educational setting. So it sounds bizarre, but I honestly feel as though I think the specialist school is going to be their staff, I feel, are more experienced and more able to make a better judgment on exactly his level of need and whether or not they think that can be accommodated within mainstream. I think they're going to be the best people to tell us that. And in order to do that, he's going to have to go there for a year or two. So the downside with that is it means that I won't be able to take him. He'll be eligible for transport, but it means putting my 4.5-year-old on a minibus every morning and waving him off at 4.5-year-old. Now that's my issue that I've got to get over. But that's going to be a wrench, and not having, like with the other two, that sort of daily contact with the teachers, and oh god, the amount of times, particularly with James, the eldest, oh god, the amount of times I'd turn up at school with him when he was 5 and 6, and I'd be like, get this kid off me, please. I'd had 5 years. He weren't diagnosed till he was 5. Nearly 5 years of being on my own, literally, because until you get a diagnosis, you can't access any support networks or anything, which is ludicrous. But yeah, 5 years of working stuff out and just trial and error. I was at my wit's end. So yeah, and like sort of, saying to the teachers, look, he's not had a good morning, we woke up in a bad mood, all that. But I went to visit one special school on Tuesday, I think it was, and was not impressed, not over enamored at all. And then I've gone to view another one today, and this is complete opposite. This has been a brilliant experience. So yeah, I think that's where we're going to go with him, and we'll just see where it goes. Because nowadays, if they are deemed, if they are sort of assessed to have caught up with, specifically, if it's felt that he can cope in mainstream, then he can these days transfer between the specialist and mainstream. That's not a problem anymore. Whereas it used to be years ago, once they were in specialist school, they were never allowed back into mainstream, even if it was deemed more appropriate that they would be in mainstream. You couldn't do that. So whereas that's now all altered. So he's not going to get, potentially, if he does catch up in a few years' time, then potentially, we might be back in. But I think right at this moment, mainstream's just not right for him, particularly with our local primary school, because they've combined the nursery and the reception years. So although Louis is reception, he in September, he will be reception age. Because of his disabilities, he's a good year behind. So I wouldn't be happy him going into the reception year. I would have wanted him to go into the nursery year. And if we do that, so if we go into mainstream now, we have to what they call defer him, and that will always follow him through. So, and they can't change that. So if it comes to him being 7 or 8 year old, and actually he's had that bit more time in order to catch up and go at his own pace, say he does get to within a range of his age-related peers where, potentially, like say, with the added support, he could go back into mainstream. If he goes into specialist first, there is no deferment. So he goes into special school as a reception child in September, not as a nursery child. So then, like say, if it's then assessed in a year or two or whatever that no, mainstream is probably the best place for him, he will go back in with those peers, but they won't. It just feels like at the moment that is the best option for him. It's something I've always fought against because I've always wanted him to have the mainstream. I didn't want to deny him the chance in mainstream. But right now, I think he needs assessing. His level of need, his true level of need, needs assessing by experts or supposed experts. You know what I mean? But it needs doing within that environment, and therefore the only way to do it is to put him in that environment. But the local primary school, like I say, has combined their foundation stage. So basically the nursery kids all interact with the reception kids, and they can have up to 70 children in that space at one time. 70 kids. Now, I think that's a lot for any kid, let alone a kid with additional needs. And Lou is currently at the childminder for 3 days a week. Certainly 1 day a week, he's with up to 3 other children, and he can withdraw into himself in the presence of 3 extra children. So putting him in the presence of an extra 60 odd kids, it's just not fair to him. We want him to enjoy school and want to go to school. We don't want to put him off. So yeah, I think this is going to be the best way, but we'll see. Sorry, where was I? Ness, you love charity shops. I got a pair of jeans new for £2. Wow. And the RRP was 50. That is a bargain. I like that, Ness. Neat, you'd rather donate than sell it to some kid for a tenner. Yeah, I'm a bit like that, love. I really am. Rather than somebody taking the Michael, yeah, I'd rather donate it as well, in all honesty. Lizzie, that's great. £2, I would be buzzing. Ness saying I was, Lizzie. I wore them jeans a lot too, freaking right. Oh, had I frozen up again? Sorry, Lise. It's tough, yeah, it is neat, but if it's best for little man, and this is the thing, this is what I've said all along. It's, it's about what's right for him. Where is right for him? What's going to give him the best experience? Where is going to be best capable of him being and being with him. Oh, and he didn't half make himself right at home. Oh my God, right? So we got to this visit to this school today, and she shows us into the dinner hall and one thing and another. He marches, no sooner have we got in there, and I'm talking to the teacher. I turns around and he's marched up to the front where the counter is, where the cooks are stood behind and the kitchens are behind. Promptly hands up, pulls off the top, pulls off a blackjack in it, looks at it, goes, picks it off the top, toddles to the table, puts it down on the table, pulls the chair out and sits himself down and starts munching on this fucking flapjack. Talk about making his son at home. I was absolutely mortified. I'm like, oh my God, I am so sorry. The cooks were laughing. They were like, don't worry, he can have it. It's a spare one. It's absolutely fine. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, seriously, kid? Oh yeah, just going to walk up. Oh, you give me some food. Thank you very much. Yep, I'm hungry. I'll sit and eat that. Yep, tucking into a piece of flapjack at school he was today. So, yeah, blessing my ass. I nearly died. I'm like, oh my God. Like, seriously, Lou. Honestly. Oh, he was writing it. Has he got a care plan yet? We've got an EHCP. Yeah, we've got a draft copy, Lizzie, and it's just being tweaked. Actually, I was talking to his portage worker this afternoon because I had to phone her and let her know how this visit had gone this morning. And she was saying she'd been talking to not the EP, not the educational psychologist. Anyway, somebody else involved in it, and they were tweaking it before it gets put through. So yeah, we're on with that. It shouldn't be long now before that comes through. A few months, hopefully. So, Lise, think you're right, as he can always enter mainstream later. To be honest, that's it, love. And it just gives the special school's gonna just give him that space, time, freedom.